Hello and welcome to the first Bone of the Week. Today I'll be covering the atlas, although not this atlas or this disappointment. We're talking about the bone, the one from the thumbnail. The atlas is the first vertebra behind the skull, and the first of the cervical or neck vertebrae. Unlike most of the other cervical vertebrae, however, this one has a special name. The name comes from some Greek god named Atlas that was condemned to hold the earth on his shoulders for eternity, kind of like how the atlas holds up your globe of a skull. In front, the atlas articulates with the occipital condyles, or knobby parts, at the back of the skull. This is called the atlanto-occipital joint. The back of the atlas articulates with the axis, the second cervical vertebra. This joint is called the atlanto-axial joint. The function of the atlas is to allow the head to have greatly increased movement, particularly when paired to the axis, which we will cover next week. In terms of form, the atlas is a ring-shaped bone found in tetrapods, which includes all amphibians, birds, reptiles, and mammals. It could be considered the wedding ring to marry the skull to the rest of the body, or something. I don't know. The atlas lacks a centrum, which is the flat, round area that most vertebrae use to articulate with each other. Instead, the atlas has an intercentrum, which is the bottom portion of the ring that other vertebrae of modern animals lack. Fish don't have an atlas because their vertebrae are lame. Sorry, ichthyologists. In fish, the joint between the skull and the first vertebra, the craniovertebral joint, is very similar to the intersection between any other two vertebrae. This is because the back of the skull is actually made up of vertebrae that eventually fused into the back of the skull. In amphibians, the atlas is the only cervical vertebra. Amphibians, reptiles, and birds all have a single condyle on the back of their skull that forms a ball and socket joint with the atlas, which you can see is the darker portion here. Some animals, like crocodilians, have a proatlas, which is a small vestigial vertebra that is in front of and slightly dorsal to or above the atlas. In other vertebrates, the proatlas has fused to become part of the skull. In mammals, the atlas has relatively large wing-like transverse processes extending out of either side. These processes are derived from the cervical ribs found in some birds and other reptiles, in contrast to the fact that mammals do not have ribs in their neck. Mammals also have two condyles instead of just one, so the atlas has two articular facets in the front. So if you ever find yourself nodding yes, you should thank the atlas. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any feedback so I can improve this series to the best of my abilities. And have a good day.